Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. So I've got this 2005 Fender Stratosonic here with me today, and it's a nice guitar. It's a USA built. It's kind of a unique beast. It's got a 24 3/4 inch scale. It's almost like a Strat with Les Paul special specs. But anyway, it's got this weirdo bridge, and I just got this guitar and I was just trying to adjust it a little bit because the action was just a tad high on the bass side. And I mean, it wasn't any more than like maybe a 64th, not even. And so I was just about to make that adjustment and I couldn't quite figure out how to get this bridge to work. So let's talk a little bit today about the Fender Tectonic bridge, which is the bridge that came on these things. Okay, so I've learned my lesson. I'm not gonna make any more videos without showing you exactly what's going on first. I was just trying to do a simple adjustment on one of my own guitars, but you know what? Anything can turn into a video these days. So this is the Fender Tectonic bridge, and it's almost like a Gibson stop bar and a Tune-O-Matic bridge like combined into one. The strings themselves go through the actual bridge, wrap around, and they go onto these sort of Fender style adjustable saddles because they go forward and back and up and down individually. But it has these two posts on the outside that are actually locking posts. And that's the frustration that I was getting into. These are the posts themselves, and they have this angle here that these little locks fit into. So once they're down inside the ferrule, this will slide up when you tighten the screw to lock it in place. And so this locking screw has to go through the middle of this whole thing. But there's also this piece that goes on top of the bridge that allows you to adjust the height of this whole assembly, and it sort of holds the bridge down whenever this is on top of it. So there's a lot of pieces here, and I have the pieces correct, but what I ran into is one of these things has a lot of junk on the inside of it. So I'm just hoping that I can clean that junk out and get this thing working again. So let me get in here with an X-Acto knife. Now I can tell this post is brass, so I don't want to go crazy. I could try to re-tap it, but that would be my last resort. I can tell the threads are a little bit galled here on top, and I think that's just from maybe some of that trash that got in there. I guess the other thing I could try to do is insert the screw through this from the other side and hope that if there's any galling of the threads on top that it'll come out correct. So let me try that first. See, this one works fine and it'll thread all the way on. But what I was experiencing was one of these would thread in and the other one would not. So I think that's what's going on, is these threads at the very top of this have gotten galled on something. If I could just get it on there, I wouldn't have to tap it. Oh, I might have done it. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and hit this with a tiny file, see if I can get some of the galling off the tops of the threads. Oh, that works much better. And that one's pretty good. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to spend a little bit more time filing this one. All right, well, I think I've got this all sorted out now, and I'm going to go ahead and reinstall it on the guitar. All right, so here's what's up. We're going to use this little angled piece first. The post has got to go on top of that, and then this hex piece, the part with the slot in it for the screwdriver, goes on top of that, but this screw has to go through all of it. So unfortunately, there's no way to really put this together without putting all three of these pieces together at once and then screwing them into the guitar and then taking the top half of it off so that I can reinstall the bridge. It's just the way it's going to work. So I can't tighten it all the way, but I've got to leave a little bit of space there. All right, that should do it. Everything's together. Now I can thread this into the bushing, and then once I get it into the bushing, I can take this middle screw back out and the top half of it back off. But I'm afraid if I don't do it all together like that, I won't be able to tell exactly where the bottom angular piece landed. All right, that's the end. Now I can take this middle piece out, and this whole top half comes out like that. So Let's do it on the other one. All right, it's not the easiest thing in the world to assemble, but that's got it. And then that needs to thread in, and then the top half of this can come out using the lock screw. Okay, now luckily this guitar looked to me like these needed to be all the way in, and then I could mount the bridge and then put the tops on and lock them down. I don't think I need to loosen these at all in order to make the strings any higher, because I think they were just right with these all the way at their bottom. And the way I took this off, this thing has locking hip shot tuners, by the way. The way I took this off was just to loosen the strings. There we go. Okay, that looks close. Now we got to put these tops in. So the top, if it wasn't obvious before, has this little hex, sort of almost its own little Allen key. It fits into that bottom part of the post. And that's what makes the top half turn the bottom half. And you just do that with a screwdriver, you know, you can just thread it in and out. But this locking piece has to go through the center of it to secure the whole thing. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn this in there. Oh, I can already tell this is working much better than it was before. All right, I'm gonna leave it a little bit loose so that it's not actually engaged, the lock. So what I've got now is I've got my locking posts still loose. I've got the larger outer post threaded all the way down to the bottom. I've tuned the guitar up, and you might hear the Peterson whirring away. But anyway, I tuned the guitar up, and I'm gonna check the action at the 17th and just see where we're at. And if I need to adjust these posts, I can do that with the locks disengaged. Oh my God, I think I got it. All right, let's see here. Any dead frets? All right, okay, well I've got 4/64 at the last two frets. Now let's see what we got all across the board. So that G string could come up slightly, but you know what? It's not fretting out, so I'm debating on it. Let me see if I've got the right Allen wrench. There we go. Wow, what a finicky little bridge. Okay, well I've got this thing back together now, and that makes me a lot happier. So, what else about this guitar might you want to know? I think it's got some kind of a mahogany body to it. That's what it looks like anyway. It's got this butterscotch finish on it, and it's slightly see-through, and the grain's really heavy and dark. And so I think it's probably a mahogany body. Maple neck, black headstock. I think the headstock is slightly more exaggerated than a Strat, but it's not quite 70s, so it's probably somewhere in between, like maybe, I don't know, Jaguar style kind of. But it looks pretty cool, and it's got this push button tone control here, and a volume and a tone, and it's got a three-way switch. I'm assuming that's basically a coil tap. And on the back here, it's got one of these cutaway heel designs with the relief here. Still got micro tilt. This one, being a 2005, has a 60th anniversary logo. Like I said, the tuners are hip shot locking tuners, and I guess we can take a look inside here real quick. Let me get you zoomed in here. All right, well, inside here you can see it's got a really nice switch. It's probably a Switchcraft, and it looks like kind of an SG style switch. It looks like CTS tone and volume pots. I don't know exactly what that is called, that breadboard style tone control thing. Nice Switchcraft jack, and it even in here it definitely looks like mahogany. I mean, it's very dark, almost red, so it looks like a mahogany body to me. Let me get this button back up. What else? What else? It's got obviously two humbuckers. These actually came in like 3 different model years, 2005 to 2007-ish, I think. And they didn't have a very long run. I guess they just weren't that popular. I don't really know why they canceled them, honestly. It must have been sales. But the double humbucker setup is kind of unique, because I think the first version of these came out with a single coil that was kind of like a P90 size, like a soap bar single coil. And I think they were called like a Dove pickup or something, and these are called the Dove humbucker. These aren't very common. That's one of the reasons why I bought it. It's because I thought, well, I'm into odd, weird stuff, and this is one odd, weird guitar. So anyway, it's got a Biflex truss rod too. You just can't see the plug because the headstock's all black. Kind of weird. Strat buttons I've not seen on anything else. They look like mushroom Strat buttons, so that's interesting. And then of course the jack is a football plate style jack. It's not a standard Stratocaster jack. In fact, I don't know where else I've seen this on Fender guitars, but anyway, it looks like a little bit of a parts bin guitar, but it's got some nice features to it. Like I said, the finish is real nice. It's got a real nice layer of black on the headstock, and it's got these sort of shell abalone inlays on the neck that look really nice, and everything feels really quality about it, right down to the electronics. So cool guitar. But anyway, I'm super relieved to have this bridge fixed, because I do not know where in the heck I would find parts for this. So thanks for hanging out, y'all. I appreciate when you guys like and comment on my videos. I really appreciate all the subscriptions, and I'll see you guys next time.